onto the BMS. So, I always put the, you need to put the, the negative wire on first. But let's get this wrapped before we do that with the Capon tape. And so I'm going to put the Bluetooth module. So at the top of the BMS, this is the Bluetooth module. It plugs in relatively easily. And then it's got 2 slots on it. The slots go through the grooves in the receiver. The male end and the female end is connected to the actual Bluetooth transmitter. So there's that. And then I'm going to put this across the top. So it's just the wires on the top of the batteries. Across the top, and I'll tape it to the side over there. Go ahead and do that now. Get that about set. Some Capon tape here that I had ready for this. Just a small piece to hold it in place while I get things set. Get my spacings for the battery all squared away, because once I get the tape on it, there's some places that'll be able to squish together, but they won't. You won't be able to separate them anymore. So just make sure it's pretty squared up and everything. The Capon tape. Before we start over in here. And there's the antenna on the Bluetooth module as well here. So you got to be aware of that. And then there's a temperature sensor on the other side that has to be taped up here in a little bit. But I'm going to just get the module itself set to the height I want it. A little bit higher. And then the battery cell number 1. And I'm just going to go all the way around everything. The whole 12-volt battery, which is essentially built right now. So this is a 12-volt, 135, according to spec, amp hour. Alright, take a pair of scissors here. Here's the upper run. Go ahead and do the lower run as well. Around here. I'm going to get the temperature sensor, at least part of it. I'm going to put it kind of in the middle, on one of the middle 2 cells. But I'll get it started, and then I'll fold it back since it goes all the way to the very end and you pull it straight out. And then the same thing with the antenna for the Bluetooth module, which is back here, and I'm wrapping around this other side here. I'll get it around most of it. Except for the very end, I'll have sticking out, and then I'll bend it back and put it on one of the middle cells as well. Alright, 2 wraps completely around and overlapping. And there's that. And then do that negative main terminal right there. And again, you're going to have the main lug on the bottom. Make sure they're flat and flush and getting down. And put the spacers washers on and go ahead and tighten that up. And there's that. And again, make sure you don't short across these. This would be really bad. So you got to be careful. You have to be careful with the torque, like I said earlier. I know I'm saying several things over and over again, and this video is getting to be really long. It's probably going to be a two-part video, actually. It's longer than I expected to do this. Just running through and just doing it myself. And pretty quick about it. So there's that. And then next thing we need to do is get the positive cell totally tightened up. And again, take that lug off that I tapped out on the main cell positive, or main battery positive rather, and go ahead and tighten that down. Again, oh, don't over torque them. You will be upset. I know I keep saying that and saying that. Okay. So that's essentially put together so far. Everything's tight. Everything's on. I could, at this point, plug in the BMS. So that's not really a problem. Well, go ahead and do that right now. We'll organize it here a little bit. Everything's tight. All the cells connected up. Okay. Okay. So the battery's essentially created. So now I'm going to put it in a box here. Put this off to the side. This is the acrylic box that I made that'll be putting the battery in. I really would like to be able to see the wiring and the Bluetooth module, which has a light on it when it's transmitting, so you can like just see through the transparent box. I really like that. I wish a lot of the off-the-shelf ones, if you buy a lithium-ion 12-volt battery or even 24-volt battery, they do have a BMS inside of them. They are built like that, and the ones like a Victron, the higher end ones that do have a Bluetooth module in them, they do have a module, probably this exact same one that's in there, and a lot of them don't have the temperature sensor. This is why this is a really good BMS, because it does have low temperature cutoff, and that's something that you can set in the app. That you can download. So anyway, so here's the box, but I wanted to show you something about the lid, because I'm going to put terminals on the lid for the box. So I've already got the negative main battery terminal, and so I got these terminal lugs. You can get them off of eBay or Amazon. I'm pretty sure I've got these off of Amazon. They're really common, and I like these size. These are 3/8 terminals, so for, you know, a high discharge rate battery, relatively high, of 100 amp constant discharge potential, it's a good idea to have some big size on your lugs. So need to look at this and make sure, because this inside rod is just a essentially just a piece of all thread that's about 2 inches long, and so you need to make sure there's going to be enough for your terminal and everything. Just and tighten these down, and then go ahead and put that back on. like that. That's bottomed out and a little spacing, so something like that is where we want it. And so notice the hole is bigger than the lug, right? See that right there? But this little insert does have a wider space, which is kind of cool because you had to drill it out a little bit larger and set it in there. But once you get it in the hole, it really seats in there nicely. So I did like that about those. And then, go ahead and tighten that up on there. So this first nut is a contactor, and so do not over tighten these. It is just brittle plastic. You can break these if you really crank on these a lot, so don't do that. It will crack and break and you'll be unhappy with that whole assembly. So there's that one. It's on there. And so that's pretty much set. We'll set that aside. Let's go ahead and get the battery inside of the box. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and take this and set it off the side. Notice the terminals I have taped up so they don't hit each other or cause any sparking right now. So I've got little caps on them and tape something. The little rubber caps will go over the nuts on the bottom and make a good safety seal. And I'll show you when I'm done when I get to that point. But you definitely have loose hot wires here potentially, and make sure you don't spark those or anything. Alright, so my box here. Oh, got something there. Dang it. I forgot to finish up the taping down of the temperature sensor. So just a little of the high temperature tape there on that, and then also on the antenna. That's pretty good right there, so I'm fine with that. Alright, so this is fairly heavy already. Trying to do it as painless as possible here. It should just slide down. There we go. And there's that. So, and so I got these separated. I'm going to do one at a time. I always like to do the negative first on things. When you're hooking it up, Negative first when you're taking it apart, negative last. Find the end of my tape here. There it is. Black on black, hard to see. There's that. I don't want to have these two hots exposed at the same time without being connected to anything. So I'm going to go ahead and connect up the negative terminal right now. That's good enough for now, so I can adjust it here a little bit. And again, with the main battery positive here, so this is going to go across like this, of course. Again, remember the flat side against the terminal. And then a washer. And then the nut there. I want to keep this over here quite a bit. Nice and snug. This is going to potentially have a lot of amperage going through it. You want that really good connections there. So just make sure there's not really any movement at all in those. And then, like I said, I do have these rubber things, just covers for the lugs themselves. Tighten up the negative, and then go through and make sure all my connections are snug. I'm pretty sure they are. And look at the alignment as well, as far as how things are going to go. Alright, put this cap on too. There we go. So we have a battery. Hi, I noticed on the video that all the camera pictures of the app itself were a little fuzzy, or actually too much glare. You couldn't really read the words or anything like that. So I went ahead. I'm going to edit in some actual good pictures. Hopefully this is going to work out, of the actual app for the battery right here that I had in the videos there. So hopefully you can see this a lot better. This is the actual app itself, the home page when you get there. And then let me go ahead and go to at the bottom. You can see the little chevrons here that you can bring up the battery state, like the voltage and different parameters for the battery itself. And then notice it does have mileage on there as well. So like I was saying in the earlier video, I might edit that part out. But I think this app was created for bicycle electric bikes, and so you have a mileage reading as well there. Let's go to the dashboard again. There's that. That's the main page. You can lock it, unlock it. You can put a password in so nobody can actually get into your app and mess with your parameters on your battery. So you can actually password protect your battery as well as your phone, of course. And then when I click the dashboard, you can see the menu, the different parameters, the dashboard, the battery state, the parameter view, which is the overall parameters. And in the parameter view is that part I was talking about that has the countdown. Like I told you, I had like 150 amps set in the app for this battery, and the difference between the Hall effect meter and the battery itself. So I think it's just based on how it's burning and stuff like that. It senses the battery and will change it. I've noticed actually just since I did the video. So what else we got? Parameter settings, which is probably the most important thing. So there's the parameter setting. And it's loading. There it is. And so there's the different settings on the app itself. Let's go ahead and scroll up so you can see all of those. Oh, there's that what I was talking about. The static balance there. So you can see that. And if you click on static balance, it'll actually do a drop down, so you can do a charge balance or a static balance. I got a lot of editing to do to get rid of that glare part. Sorry about that. There'll be some of that in the video just because I was given pretty good information when I was doing that there, so I just want to make sure you get the information. But I will put this at the end of the video, or maybe I'll just break it up into pieces at least, so you can have these parts here for the app itself. And that's all the way at the end. And so the submit button right there, and it actually will talk into the Bluetooth, the battery itself right there. And I didn't actually change any parameters, but it's acting like maybe I did, so it's updating that. So yeah, pretty helpful app. And again, there's the battery state. Let me go ahead and go to the battery state itself, and there's that. You can see the 13.35, and it's charging right now. I have the charger on it, charging it back up. It's fluctuating about around 2 amps, but maybe slightly under, slightly over. It's bouncing around a little bit like typical chargers. And the different information for the battery itself. Let me scroll down to that meter part I was talking about. There you go, the nominal capacity and the remaining capacity. Now the remaining capacity is coming up, but you can see the 150 amp hours for the nominal capacity, and the remaining capacity is 111 and change there, and so it's going up instead of down because I'm charging it. And so that's pretty interesting feature of that. And then the actual battery, it stayed itself. So remember, we put the BMS on there with the leads to the positive. That's what's sensing the individual voltage of the 4 cells that we created, and so that's their voltage there, and they're slowly going up as well. So yeah, I just wanted to get that so you have some clear screenshots of that and able to see what's going on for that. So good. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you'll see you at the next video.